In this video, I'm going to outline my professional recommendations for Series 2 of Gentleman Jack. I'll start with the script and then I'll move on to discuss the characterisation of Anne Lister and Anne Walker. And then I'll talk about their relationship, intimacy and finish up on mental health. Let's start with the script. There are two things that I want to see with the script in Series 2. Number one, I want to see a fuller and more complete picture of Anne Lister's life. I want to see the storyline open up wider than being about Anne Lister's lesbian encounters and her business activities. She was also an avid walker and a pioneering mountaineer and climber. I want to see more about her adventures, her studies, her mountaineering and travelling. Number two, Anne's diaries. They're central to the story. She was an avid writer documenting her life in detail. I want to see more private moments of Anne reflecting and writing in her diary and the storytelling that goes along with that. By showing us this, we'll get a real insight into how, but also what she thinks about herself and about other people. In opening up her diaries in this way, we'll also get an insight into how Anne talks about her sexuality, so the words and the phrases that she used. There was no language for lesbian sexuality back then, and as a modern day lesbian, I want to know how she felt about it and how she talked about it. Here are my recommendations for the characterisation of Anne Lister and Anne Walker. I want to see Suranne and Sophie go deeper into their characterisation using mind-body types. This will bring more authenticity to their characters. Now don't worry if you haven't come across mind-body types before, I'm going to give you a brief introduction to them now. There are three different mind-body types as defined by Ayurveda. And you're born with a unique ratio of these three mind-body types. They come together differently in each one of us, and it's this unique combination that makes you who you are. The unique ratio is your natural state, or what you're born with. And it defines everything about you really, so your appearance, such as your hair and your eye colour, the way that you move, your posture, your temperament, your personality and your characteristics, your mannerisms, your gestures, your thought patterns, any physical and mental ailments that you have, and so much more. Anne Lister is a Pitta mind-body type. Suranne played the physical elements of the Pitta type well, such as the stride and the way that she talked, but she didn't pay attention to the emotional and the mental side of the mind-body type. In Series 1, we see her alternating between a Vata and a Kapha mix when it comes to the emotional and mental aspects of Anne. In Series 2, we need to see more of the Pitta emotional and mental qualities of Anne Lister coming through. Anne Walker, on the other hand, is a Vata mind-body type. Sophie portrayed Anne's mental state really well based on her mind-body type. In Series 2, I want to see her work on the physicality of the character with the Vata quirks and the emotional flightiness of the Vata mind-body type. If you want to know more about the mind-body types of Anne Lister and Anne Walker, I've written an article about it. You can see the link in the description along with this video to read that. Without this knowledge of mind-body types, there was something missing for me in Series 1. Characterising using the mind-body types will give Suranne and Sophie a deeper understanding of their characters, so how they think, how they feel, and how they behave. When you combine that with an understanding of the impact of the social and cultural conditioning that they faced in their lives, I honestly think that they'll nail it. All of this influences who they are, so how they interact with their lovers, their family dynamics, and how they present themselves to the outside world. There are a few things to recommend for relationships and intimacy. The first thing, in Series 1, we did not see an accurate portrayal of a Pitta-Vata relationship. In Series 2, there needs to be more understanding of how these mind-body types interact together in a relationship. In essence, this is a fire and air relationship, and I want to see this. A Pitta-Vata relationship changes over time from the early days of dating right through to a more serious, committed relationship. How they interact together, their level of connection and conversations, how they experience sexual intimacy, and their expectations of each other will change dramatically when they're married and as they start to spend more time together. I want to see this change in behaviour and the power dynamic that emerges as a result of that. In Series 2, I want to see a true representation of a Pitta-Vata relationship and how that plays out over time. Number 2, Anne Lister and Anne Walker have very different emotional needs as a result of their mind-body types. I want to see these differences and how that changes the dynamic of their relationship. Number 3, let's talk about intimacy. In Series 1, watching Anne Lister felt almost kind of like textbook. In Series 2, I want to see a shift from a technical level of intimacy to a more tender and sensual level of intimacy. A move from the mechanical to the meaningful is essential. Anne Lister loved her physical senses being aroused in the bedroom. We need to see this. And also, more awareness is needed of what goes on in a Pitta Vata same-sex couple's bedroom. From Suranne specifically, I want to see the level of intimacy that a Pitta type would exude in the bedroom. Number 4, how does Anne Walker interact socially with Anne Lister? A lack of public displays of affection and affection in the home from Anne Walker will affect Anne Lister. It will be felt as a rejection, and that will result in a change of dynamics in the home. Lister will likely shut down, be angry and distance herself. I want to see this dynamic. Lastly, here are my recommendations around mental health. In Series 2, I want to see a deeper understanding of the impact of the social and cultural conditioning Anne Lister would have experienced both at school and in her local community. This affected how she projected herself to the world in her behaviours and her actions. Whilst a very strong character, the impact of all those judgments and abuse, it was evident. From Suranne, I want to see her fully embody the social and cultural conditioning Anne Lister faced over the years. Show us all of the hurt, the rejection, the grief and the loneliness that Anne Lister feels, both with her being a lesbian, but also being a strong, bold, outspoken character that rejected gender norms. I want to see the profound impact that her lovers rejecting her in favour of marrying men had on her. We cannot underestimate this and ignore it. And I want to see her interacting with others based on her mind-body type, not stereotypes. I want to see the impact all of this had on Anne's mental health and her mindset. From Sophie, I want to see the sacrifices that Anne Walker made for Anne Lister and the impact that this had on her mental and physical health. I want to see how Anne Walker's relationship with her family changes and how her status in society changes after her marriage. From both Suranne and Sophie, I want to see the impact of the intense bullying, judgments and abuse that they both faced from the local community. And lastly, the relationship shouldn't be overly romanticised. I feel like it has been in Series 1. In a nutshell, there you have my professional recommendations for Series 2 of Gentleman Jack. I've talked through the script, mind-body types, relationships, intimacy and mental health. This is what I need to see addressed in Series 2. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think needs to be addressed in Series 2? If you want to know more about my thoughts on Gentleman Jack, mind-body types, or Anne Lister's birth chart analysis, I've written a detailed article on it. The link's in the description along with this video. And listen, if you like what you've seen today, please subscribe, share this with your friends, and leave me a message below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.